Overcast weather and threatening forecast is what greets us as we say hello to you wherever you are in the world. It's John Hindhaugh and Shay Adam as we are getting ready for the first of two rounds of Porsche Carrera Cup North America, supporting the Canadian Grand Prix. And my goodness me, our cars getting ready to go. They're already effectively on the false grid, on the Formula One starting grid, with a Kelly Moss Road and Race number 24 sitting on pole position. I'm John Hindhaugh. Shay Adam is alongside me. The wind is picking up, and for once, Shay, I'm very happy to be in the Global Broadcast Centre and not sitting outside.
Yeah, so am I, John. Thank you very much for welcoming me to the booth for this race. It's a lot better in here than it is outside. The temperature is dropping, the wind is starting to pick up, and the storms are a-coming. As of 30 minutes ago, when the cars were told to roll to the false grid, the tire choice was open for the competitors. So, is anyone brave enough to run around on wets until the rain comes, and then when everybody else is potentially sliding off the track, they would have a slight advantage? Well, I hope that somebody did that, because that would keep the streak alive that we've had this year of having different race winners. It hasn't been as consistent as some other series. We have had repeat winners, but the excitement of having new winners and the potential for more new winners, well, that's something I'm here for.
And as far as the grid is concerned, Shay, it was pretty tight in qualifying. How did they line up?
Very tight in qualifying. It's Luke Hartog for Kelly Moss with Riley on the front row of the grid as pole position. Once again, valuable 2 points going the way of Luke, who is our championship leader. Alongside him, though, a fantastic effort from Yves Baltas for MDK Motorsport in that second position. Speedy Dan Clark was speedy, very speedy in qualifying. Good enough for third, another MDK Motorsport car. And Baby Bull Racing with Michael Cooper. Michael really does well on these types of courses. He lines up fourth. Fifth was race winner from Miami, Zach Vignier. Big fan club here for the Canadian and JDX Racing, and he has a teammate alongside him, Alex Sedgwick, the number 98. Alex ran super well in both the races at Miami, still looking for that elusive first win. Seventh on the grid is Jimmy Libri for ACI Motorsport, and alongside him it's McCann Racing's Michael McCann in the 8th position. Colin Kaminsky from Top Racing Performance is 9th, and then 10th Angel Benitez for Momentop FMS Motorsport. Now you might have noticed there are a lot of different teams in the top 10. Really good to see that variety. I think we've got 8 different teams out of the top 10 cars. The best of the cars for the Pro-Am class, congratulations to Jordan Wallace, another one of the Kelly Moss Racing cars. He starts in the 13th position overall. And then out of our AM contenders, once again, Masters contenders, still dealing with a new name, Matt Halcomb qualified well enough for 18th overall. Really good job by Matt. He's gotten fast lap in every single one of the 4 races so far this year, but he hasn't yet got a pole position. Well, he set that right today.
Shay Adam fighting against, is that Brian Till I can hear in the background?
It is. We're in the same room.
We'll shut the door between Shay and Brian as we're getting ready, and once we get the flat sixes fired up, it will, I'm sure, drown out the noise in the background. The spectators have stayed on at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve as the 1 minute to go sign before we roll off on the formation lap. This is a time certain race. It is 45 minutes. We run probably one of the longest races in Porsche Carrera Cup North America, and we are being led round by an unfamiliar safety car from the VAG family, but not a Porsche. Remarkably.
No, that's because
that is very unusual indeed.
The pink
very
Porsches
grey
in
skies greeting the drivers as Luke Hartog will lead them away. Wind beginning to blow up round of this circuit. Iconic venue for Formula One, and the first of 2 races this weekend. Engines have fired. The flat sixes are burbling away in the background. Pole position then for Hartog in the white car with the green stripe, and the number 24 pulls away. It's Baltas alongside him, then Clark, Cooper, Vanier, Sedgwick, Jimmy Libre, Michael McCann, Kaminsky and Benitez for your top 10. And the first thing that we want to see, Shea Adam, is everyone getting off the line. It's a good looking grid, multicoloured, and they sound fabulous, as I can just about hear the engines in the background pulling away. When will the rain come, and if it does, who's on the right tyres? We haven't been able to take a good look down at the tyres themselves, but we'll soon know if and when the rain does come. Do you think anyone's taken the gamble, Shane?
I really, really hope so, particularly some of these drivers who have been so close to breaking through for their first wins. I mean, think back to Dan Clark and how consistent he's been, particularly in the second half of the last year. We've got Michael Cooper has been there and thereabout, Alex Sedgwick, Michael McCann still looking for that first win as well. So there are drivers starting in the top 10. Maybe they rolled the dice. It's not wet yet, but when it gets wet here, it gets torrential. It gets wet very, very quickly.
It's been an odd few days weather-wise here at the circuit, and in fact we lost a full Formula 1 session, and that doesn't happen very often. They opened the pit lane, but the race control said didn't want anyone to go out, which was a bit bizarre. So 45 minutes on the clock. The leaves been blowing around quite considerably, and the foliage beginning to be rocked, and that is for me, that is the sign of impending weather. Depends which way you look. Look out across the river, and there's a patch of blue sky coming. Look the opposite direction. It's like Armageddon, the end of the world. Bonjour Montreal, and hello to wherever you're watching or listening. RS2, the home of IMSA Radio, and live on video as well. If you go to imsaradio.com, you'll see at the top left-hand side a live video button. I know that's a bit weird on a radio page, but we carry all of the races. And tomorrow, because of overlaps, then this will be one of the places you can see IMSA on the YouTube IMSA page, on the Porsche Sport page, and here on IMSA Radio's video stream as well. IMSA TV will be splitting off to take some action from mid-Ohio. So here comes the leading car.
I think we're starting behind the safety
very
car.
Much to me as if it is going to be 2 formation laps.
No?
The time has not yet started as the lead car comes across the line.
Well, sometimes you're the windshield and sometimes you're the bug, right? But take this experience, even though it hasn't turned out the way you wanted it to. Moving forward, a race is coming from our local.
Do you know, for all that doom and gloom, all of a sudden it's cleared up, hasn't it?
No,
I think might get a race in here, Shane.
I'm looking at the radar, John. It is definitely not going to get any better. There is a giant blob of green, yellow, and most alarmingly red that is coming in toward the area. This was supposed to be a 1 formation lap per the driver's briefing, which was published on the official website, a 40-minute total race. There is no wiggle room. And unlike our other races, which is 40 minutes plus 1 lap, this one is time certain. So when the checkered flag comes out, it will be at the 40 minutes having a lapsed mark. So we do have that to look forward to. This being the second of our Porsche Carrera Cup races that's shared with a Formula One weekend. It's effectively created its own championship because now we have the Andile Cup within this series, which is it includes Sebring, Watkins Glen, Road America, Indianapolis, and Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta. Yes, please.
So the time on the clock has just come down to 40 minutes from the 45 when they rolled off. That takes into account. In fact, now I've got a clock that started. So I presume what must have happened was they started the clock on the first formation lap. Okay. We'll roll with this and see what's happening. Not confident, I'm afraid, of what is happening, other than that we are about to get a green flag, I presume.
And it would.
I don't see double yellows anywhere, so I'm presuming that this is a second lap. No information coming through to us here in the Global Broadcast Centre, and certainly the timing and scoring screen not showing a yellow flag. We are on the Formula 1 timing this weekend, and the clock has started running down to 37, 36, 35, 34 on that timing. And it looks like we're getting into grid order side by side.
Huh.
The lead car is still at the head of the field. So this could potentially be to try and get this race in before the weather arrives. The headlights are undoubtedly showing. Now the race control car pulls away, so Luke Hartog is in control of the field, and it's a good side-by-side grid formation. Somebody a little bit further back has got the windscreen wiper on already. I think that was De La Torre, perhaps, but I don't see any rain falling. There's a heat haze from the 4-litre flat sixes behind the cars, as a stunt seagull decides to nip in and grab some kind of detritus from the track just as the full field comes towards it. Hartog trying to get up the outside through the final chicane. The Wall of Champions on the driver's right here, waiting for the green flag to be shown at the start-finish line. They're waiting a very long time, and still no green flag. We're still waiting, and now we go green. And it's a brilliant start from Luke Hartog as Bottas tried to go round the outside, but he was left in the wake now. Down towards the first corner. Here comes Bottas, though. He gets the inside for turn 3, and he goes through. I think he's going to go through in that number 15 car, the yellow and white machine. They're side by side, still too wide and many deep, as Hartog has converted and got it through. Dan Clark coming through to second, I think, as Bottas has got that one done and dusted. It is the yellow car. Dan Clark through to second, and the pole sitters down to third, side by side for 4th and 5th position. Vanier and Cooper disputing that one at the moment. Great bit of driving and respect by both of those front row drivers, Shea Adam, with Luke Hartog, the pole sitter, and Bottas battling it out. And the man who really gets the advantage is Speedy Dan Clark from row number 2.
Speedy Dan Clark with a really good start. So too did Michael Cooper, and I'm wondering if Michael is on rain tires, because if you judge by the crowd, it looks like the hoods have gone up and the rain is starting to fall. As here comes Michael Cooper looking around the outside of Yves Bottas, going through the hairpin, can't get it done, loses all traction and goes way out wide. As yes, we can see the rain falling out the booth window now, and the windshield wipers are on. This is truly going to be an exciting race. Have to keep an eye, by the way, on Efren Castro. Started at the back of the pack, had a big crash in qualifying, John. His car completely rebuilt. The spare car brought out by Kelly Moss. He started dead last. Where is Efren Castro up to already? Well, answer, he's already gained 2 positions. A bit of a leg hip check there from Michael Cooper as Lloyd Hartog gets into the back of him. Luke trying to manage. There we go. Now everything's starting to shake out as Yves Bottas leading. Michael Cooper in second, Luke Hartog in third, and Alex Sedgwick in fourth. Wondering when Speedy Dan Clark will make the move to catch back up to them, because with the rain coming, we could go yellow at any point in time. Yves Bottas leading his first laps of this championship, looking like he's been there all along. Michael Cooper, a Daytona 24 Hours winner, a man with a lot of experience. He's no stranger to being at the front, but in Carrera Cup, he's yet to win a race. He's defending early on from Luke Hartog, who's trying to get back to the front after that not great start for the Kelly Moss driver. But Luke is calm, he's patient, he knows he's got a large championship lead over Zach Van Yee, so as long as he stays ahead of the driver at the number 9 for JDX Motorsport, he'll be okay. Michael Cooper now having to defend for that second position, as Baltas is saying, yep, you guys go ahead and battle it out. That's all right, I'll just check out. Rain is falling ever so slightly harder as it is starting to move in. I've got the weather radar up. I'm just watching ever carefully, waiting to see when the drops intensify, because per the weather radar, it's already raining. It's about to get a lot heavier. So we are about to see these Cup cars in truly wet conditions. Who is going to be able to succeed at that? Answer right now is Yves Baltas. Really impressed with the driver right now of that number 15 machine. As I said, we haven't seen Yves leading yet, but he's looking like he's been there for a long time, John.
Yes, it certainly is. Driving like a pro. How heavy is the rain? How long can these guys stay out? Yves Baltas, Luke Hartog, Cooper, Sedgwick, Clark, Michael McCann, and Wiper on again on the number 2 car as it goes through there. It's the only one that I've noticed with the Wiper on, though, if I'm brutally honest. And that is Jimmy Liebler down in 9th position in the tricolour coloured car. As they're on the far side of the circuit now and heading back through the chicane. Baltas with the fastest lap. Hartog, Cooper, Sedgwick, Clark, McCann, Vanier, Benitez, Libre, De La Torre for the top 10, all pro class runners. In the Pro Am,
spinner.
It is it Moisey Aretsky?
No, it's Saber
Cook.
Cook.
Leading in that, I think it is. And in the Masters class, go down to Matt Holcomb. Spin at the hairpin. Tricky conditions. Gets it pointing back in the right direction again, Shay.
That was Saber Cook.
Was there a little helping nudge that went on there?
Let's see, Saber Cook going through. Nope, just lost the rear end of the car on her own, and thankfully it was right in front of Moisey Uretsky. Moisey able to get through cleanly, so it had no effect on anyone else, thankfully. Those are the best kinds of spins. Keep an eye on Alex Sedgwick, that driver of the number 98 for JDX. He is looking really racy today. Safety car.
Safety car. Safety car is out. And that neutralises the field, so if Baltas will have to give up that nearly 2 seconds lead that he had built up.
John, I don't see any cars missing.
Cars will come together. Now what I can't tell you is why we've got a safety car. I presume there's either some debris or someone stranded at the side of the circuit. You don't get the race control messages when we're on the Formula One. Let's have a look and see what is happening. No, that's all of the race control messages are only applicable to Formula One. They don't put the support series messages on the race control channel. So James Sofranas, I think, just nipped past Moisey Uretsky there to take the Pro-Am lead. Or was he already leading Moisey there in 13th position?
Nope, that would be a change from before the safety car came out. So that could be a serious move as the windshield wipers are now on intensely coming down that backstretch before the turn at 13 and then into 14. I don't see anyone missing. I'm wondering if this is weather related perhaps, John.
I'm also looking to see whose tyres are clearing the most water as they come through. The wind, as I said, is always the harbinger of doom and gloom in this situation. Here's Baltas then through turns 2 and 3. Hartog, Cooper, Sedgwick, Clark, Michael McCann, Vanya Benitez, Yardley, and Jimmy Liebler for the top 10. I sorry, don't understand this at the moment. Yes, it's raining, but as Shay said at the beginning, it was declared an open session, so you could have put wets on. Unless something has happened that we aren't aware of, and we're not seeing it, deliberately not seeing it, which sometimes happens. This has been an accident until everyone is cleared. Shay frantically trying to find out some information. The weather is coming in harder and the rain is certainly getting more intense, but nowhere near enough. There's not standing water. That's what I should say. This can't be for the weather on the track. If it was lightning in the air, that would be a red flag and they would come in. 27 minutes to go. 27, 8, 15, 14, 12, 11 and 10 seconds. And the stands are still full of spectators as well. They've not been asked to take cover. So I'll take from that this is not lightning. And at the moment, the track is more than raceable. So let's wait to hear for race control. We're connected to IMSA's weather warning system as they send that to all of their partners. Now there's a red flag. We have a red flag. I see red flags at the marshal stands, and it is now a red flag. Now, very odd that the grandstands haven't been cleared if this is weather related. Shay has been diving into this. I don't see anybody missing on the timing and scoring, so I think the good news is, Shay, that all of our 32 cars and drivers that started are still circulating. They'll all come into the pit lane.
Yep.
What news?
We haven't lost any of our drivers. I have not yet gotten a text from IMSA saying that there is a stage 3 weather alert, which means a lockdown. Basically, it's when the track action has to stop. The message from race control, thank you, Tom Moore, is they're bringing everyone in to go onto wet weather tires. So that is why we're seeing tire carts being scrambled into the pit lane, John, because this keeps the playing field even for everybody and gives everyone an opportunity to put on wet. So by that message, that would tell me that nobody started on wet weather tires, because if one person had, it would have disadvantaged them and, well, given the advantage back to everyone else.
Are we sure that this was declared open at the start? And it was because you're only allowed to put wet weather tyres on, as Ferrari F1 found to their cost, once the track has been declared wet or open. It's your choice after that. If not, you are not allowed to put wet tyres on.
The exact
Are we
message,
sure it was declared open?
The exact message from race control in Montreal, quote, "False grid is now open. Cars may now populate false grid on their choice of tires, as there is no tire declaration at this time."
Right. Interesting. As you said, Shay, anybody who had banged a set of Michelin wets on, Yokohama wets on, would have been absolutely quinted. Now the odd thing is they've all been stopped in the fast lane, and not everybody is changing tyres.
They might not have been
I can
cleared
see a
to
couple
do
of
that yet.
tyres being laid out. Grid is now open for tyre change.
There we go. Thank you, graphics, Team Graphics, my family.
Tyres laid next to Dan Clark's car.
And the clock
Now-
continues to count down.
Yes, correct. So this is a red flag that does not stop the clock. That is not park firm either. So how very Formula One is that? You're allowed a tyre change.
Maybe they're
I'm
not
already
allowed to
thinking about.
begin the tire change
Jane.
until all the cars have parked in the fast lane.
Okay. I'm assuming, Share, the thinking behind this is, even if somebody had been on wet weather tyres, that whilst it's lovely sharing with Formula One, the pit lane isn't yours, and therefore you can prepare your cars and send them out in the false grid, but nobody is set up to do a quote-unquote quick tyre change. And I can see cars now being pulled out of line, including one of the Kelly Moss
Luke
cars. I think
Hartog.
that's the pole sitter, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Being pulled out of line in second. He's being pushed backwards. So all the time we are losing race time. Well, extraordinary scenes here at Porsche Carrera Cup North America in the pit lane of the Canadian F1 Grand Prix. There's an awful lot of cars who are just sitting there with teams who are not interested in the slightest in changing their tyres. Not at all.
That could be because this blob of rain will be passed in, well, it will be a lot less within 30 minutes. So by the end of the race, it could potentially be not treacherous. But if I'm a race car driver and I'm going out onto Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in these conditions, wet weather tires, please, and thank you.
Leader of the race is getting Yokohama wets. So Luke Hartog getting. Now, what's happened here? Because I've now got a reordering of the grid, I think.
Hartog is scored in P1 on my timing, ahead of Yves Bottas, but there is no gap between them. So I'm wondering if that's because, no, Luke's pit box is behind where Yves was positioned in the pit lane.
Yeah. Well, Luke was definitely pulled out of second position and pushed backwards. We'll wait for some information to filter through. This is confusing for the fans as well as us at the moment. The teams having to make the decision as to whether to go on to wets or not. Now we've got some tyre cards coming out now. So here's the answer to the question, I reckon, Shea, is that teams had the opportunity to change tyres on the false grid. They eschewed that opportunity, and what they didn't have, or at least some of them didn't have, was their tyre cards in the F1 pit lane. And that's why it's taken so long for them to get here. I said teams aren't showing any interest. The reason they weren't showing any interest was they didn't have any tyres to put on the cars.
You could be right on that, John, but these weather conditions are not dampening the fans and the marshals out around the track. And it's a good time to say thank you to all the volunteer marshals who make what we do possible. And glad that the DJs around the track are keeping everybody entertained.
So all 32 cars are now in the Formula One pit lane and waiting to get the tyre changes done. Now these guys aren't set up to do super quick tyre changes, one should say that. As it stands at the moment, we haven't done enough laps to call this a race, I don't think. The time started on the second formation lap. Being techno seems to be the order of the day. Actually be nice to see what's going on down in the pit lane and work out who's getting new tyres and who isn't. But hey, remember, we're not in control of the pictures. They're coming from FOM. So now we've got 2 by 2
Okay.
in the pit lane, and that's allowing some work to be done, and still tyre carts being brought down, Shay, to cars at the sharp end of the safety car line as they came in.
We had Kelly Moss in their boxes. That was Luke Hartog being pulled out of line. I saw the McCann racing cart being towed down to try and get access to Michael's car. So several cars that are really, really struggling to try and get that tire change done. Several of the teams struggling to try and get the tire change done, but still the clock continues to count down, and the question is going to be, how wet is the circuit when they take back to it, and how much time is going to be left in this race?
Well, they'll have to do a formation lap, won't they?
Yeah.
Behind the safety car, the leading car. And after that, let's see if we can get this one underway. But we're getting down towards 15 minutes now, 17:31. And no sign of cars going back out. At best right now, we're going to have 10 minutes and possibly fewer than that. Could be looking at maybe just 2 laps here.
Well, that makes that pass from James Sofronis even more important to
Massive.
take the Pro-Am lead, because he is in a serious points deficit coming into today's race, John. 46 points compared to Marco Cironi, 68 points for Marco, so James needs that benefit.
Yeah. Now, Baltas has been put back at the top of the standings, and he's out on track. So he's rolled out of the pit lane. Here's Baltas then out of the pit lane. The safety car's pulled to one side, I believe, because I can't see that car. And it's not like with a yellow and white car you can sneak out of pit lane. No, he's been followed out by Luke Harcourt. And if I just nip out here, maybe they won't notice and I'll get a lap on the field. That's not what's happened. Luke Hartog has got out, and Dan Clark. Cooper's got out, Clark has got out. Alex Sedgwick has not gone out. So now we've got the situation where everybody has to be reordered as to where they were when we red flagged it. Of course, now the thing is, they could go back 1 lap to the last green flag lap, and therefore that pass from James Sofronas might not have been as crucial as we wanted, because they actually did red flag it. It wasn't as if they just double yellowed it and followed around. That's a red flag. So at this point, surely we're going to have to go back. Sedgwick's still not out the pits. The other cars have come out.
Waiting on the Sedgwick tire change to be complete. I think that's what they're waiting on. Well, he's not in the pit lane anymore, because the next car in line is a top racing car. I think that's Colin Kaminsky in the number 77. Yes, it is. Still waiting in the transition lane, if you will, of the pit lane is Jordan Wallace. So next car to roll should be James Sofronis per our timing screen. There we go. James is almost done with the tire change, I believe. No, just getting started with the tire change. Oh, this is costing us even more time. Now, if they were to revert it, John, do they have to go back to the last green flag lap, or would it be the last lap? Because they did do a lap under yellow.
Bear in mind, I'm not working with all of the usual facilities that we have for Porsche Carrera Cup North America. It would be the last lap before the red flag. Doesn't have to be a green flag lap. You're absolutely right. So it could be the safety car lap. So at the moment, we've got the sight of Porsches parked in precipitation perfectly at the second and third corner as they've out of the pit lane, and we're waiting for each of the individual teams to get their laps done. James Sofronas' team's got no reason to hurry, have they? If they're really waiting on them and they're still in the first place in Pro-Am, they'll want to take their time, because it's less opportunity for Moisey Oreski, for Wallace, for Cironi, and for Alan Metney, who's a couple of cars further back, to actually retake that. Kyle Washington, still waiting for the 32 car as well. I'm going to have a proper look at that line, which we're not seeing at the moment, dear viewer, so I apologise. Shay, can you see Sedgwick's car in that line?
Yes, Sedgwick is P4. He is P4.
Right, so that is the orangey yellow car, orangey red car that's in behind the pink car then. That's Alex.
Correct. Yes, the pink car is Michael Cooper.
Yeah, that's right.
And then the red car with the white and the black on it is Alex Sedgwick. Speedy Dan Clark is bright yellow and green. He's another one that's very hard to miss. Michael McCann is red, white, and black. Zach Vanier is black, gray with some yellow on it. I believe there was some yellow. And then Angel Benitez should be the next one in line. But it looks like we are getting to more of a level of sanity as far as the line is concerned. Now, my big concern is going to be water and race cars don't often mix very well. So what knock-on effect is this going to have potentially for future races, i.e. tomorrow? Unless it's raining tomorrow, in which case everything is null and void.
Yeah, yeah, the F1 timing is not shown Alex Sedgwick, excuse me, coming out the pit lane. He's still shown in the pit. But that's not what our eyes are telling us. Should be Pedersen, Washington, King, Mosing, Sabre Cook, Carlos de Quesada, Mark Kawame. They're all still to come out. So we've still got 10 cars or thereabouts, more than that actually, to come out. The rain has not eased. If anything, it's getting heavier. There are one or two puddles at the edges of the track, but not on the track. I think there'll be some very frustrated teams and drivers here.
Oh,
Big ploppy rain.
Yes, and the racetrack is turning more into a duck racetrack, where you could have some rubber duckies out there and have a very good race with them, as our marshals have done in the past. Race Control, by the way, targeting a race restart in about 3 minutes' time. That's what they're targeting, and that's what they have asked the teams to try and finish up in time for that. Just because Race Control wishes it doesn't make it magically happen, unfortunately, but that is the goal, as the last car in line now is the number 74 of Kenton King. So we're very nearly there. We've got about 8 more cars to get in line before we'll be ready, as one of the cars is actually being pulled out of line. Now, I have to keep my eyes open to see who this is. It's Sabre Cook. Sabre Cook is being removed from the line. And
I think they're reordering as they go along, Jay.
I think so
that's
too.
what they're doing. They're trying to save time. So they're reordering cars. And who's this coming up
Jake
the outside?
Pedersen.
That's the... Yeah, that's Pedersen, who... Yeah, he's moving into line. This is... Oh my goodness, mate. And we've got the cars now lined up outside of the pits, but not necessarily quite in the right order. And I think that's what's going on now. Still got 6 cars that are showing in the pits. I am not sure that that is true. So waiting now to see who starts the engines, who can see through the windscreens in case there's any condensation. And we're going to time this out, I'm afraid, to see it. I don't think we're going to get back to green flag racing.
It's definitely not on our side time, that's for sure, as the clock is down to 8 minutes and 40 seconds, and now we are 25 5 of the 32 cars out of the pit lane, so we're waiting on 7 more cars. And they are from, well, I have to say, some of the teams will be very motivated to get their drivers out, like Allegra Motorsport with Carlos de Quesada, who's just left the pit lane. Mark Vame, MDK Motorsport, he's looking to make up some positions because he's not used to dropping that far back in the field. He's normally qualifying up at the front. All right, now we only have 2 cars left, 1 car left. It is John Getz from Kelly Moss, who is rolling. Excellent. Job well done. Let's go racing again, please.
I wonder if they'd just rolled Yves Baltas. That would have given the guys at the back of the field a bit of a hurry up. Race control said 3 minutes. That was a bit more than 3 minutes ago. We still haven't got the front of the field rolling. And what I haven't seen yet is where the lead car got to. Is it in front of Luke? It must be.
Yes.
That isn't rolling either. Of Yves Baltas rather. Then it's Luke Hartog. Then Michael Cooper in the pink, dark pink car. So what are we waiting for now? Because unless Alex Sedgwick is still in the pits, but we don't think he is.
No, he's in line.
He's showing it on the timing screen, but we can see him in line. So yeah, we've got a Marshall with a hand in the air, one of the car controllers. 1 minute, start your engine. We're going to be well under 5 minutes by the time we get back. So this could be as few as 2 laps, possibly as many as 3. We'll restart under a full course yellow. If they don't go green the first time around, then we might only get 1 lap. It's very wet now. And there's a bit of standing water there. The irony is that the conditions were better when they came in 15 minutes ago, or whatever it was, 20 minutes ago. And you probably could have survived on slicks for a little bit and then come in and done a pit stop. Whereas right now, that is right on the edge of being raceable. Even with wet weather tyres on, there's so much standing water on the track, which wasn't there 20 minutes ago.
The most critical thing right now is to not throw it into the wall, because we are circulating behind the safety car, and there would be nothing worse than giving up a podium position because you crashed behind the safety car. So let's be smart, ladies and gentlemen, and bring it around. And if we do get a green flag, which there is so much puddling out on the track, then you can have your opportunity. But right now, just keep it on the straight and narrow.
Yeah. So the lights are still on the safety car, at least on the front of the safety car. There's no light bar on the top of this car. There's a flashing light on the front windscreen. And what is there on the back? Yeah, there's some flashing lights in the rear screen as well. Under 5 minutes to go now. And we might be looking at a washout literally here.
All the fans.
Would be delighted.
All the fans who have stuck around through this.
No sign of the safety car lights going off. I think this is going to be finished under yellow if we don't go green this time around. Coming into the final corner, the safety car is going round again. There's 4 minutes left on the clock. We might get 1 lap if the safety car comes in. Getting shades of the Nürburgring last weekend, cycling round behind the safety car to not go green. Say that the conditions with the standing water now are borderline. cruise control will be looking and talking to the lead car driver, safety car driver. All the wipers going now on the all 32. We counted them in. We have counted them out again. That's the good news. The bad news is we haven't had any racing. Under 3 minutes now. Shear's doing arithmetic. I can tell.
Well, no, I'm not going to jinx anything, and so I'm not saying anything about stats, and I'm not doing points because I don't want to jinx anything. But
you can't do points yet.
I have just discovered some very, very cool fact that could be potentially true if in 2.5 minutes' time the car that's leading is still leading. So that's as far from Curse of the Commentator as I could possibly get, but I don't want to say it as of yet.
Well, down through the years, the weather has played its part at a number of races, and here it's wiped it out completely. How many green flag laps did we have, Shade? 2 or 3?
2, I believe, and you said Yves Baltas set the fastest lap at the time.
Yeah, let me check that out for you again.
Because I have given him the point for fast lap and the 2 points for Luke Hartog for the pole position.
Actually, for some reason, our timing screen is not showing the fastest lap. Which is very odd.
But like I said, it doesn't do any good to hold your position behind the safety car or lose positions behind the safety car, because if you don't have your position at the end of the race because something happened behind the safety car, that negates all the good work you did before the safety car was even out. So we don't want to...
We're going to finish under yellow.
We don't want to award anything yet.
We are going to finish under yellow as the safety car is going through to start what will be the last lap with 54 seconds to go. The white flag is out with the yellows. I don't understand that. I don't see the point of that, to be honest. If you're not going to restart the race, just throw the checker. Yves Baltas knows he's won it, and that was courtesy of his start, effectively. Well, that's very, very disappointing for all of the teams, the drivers, and particularly for the fans that stayed on. They've not seen any racing, and we've gone back out there to sit behind the safety car, which was pretty unfulfilling, wasn't it? Right, Shea, you can do the arithmetic now.
All right, I am.
Okay. So it'll be Baltas that wins from Luke Hartog, Michael Cooper. Those are on the podium then. Alex Sedgwick, Dan Clark, Michael McCann. And it's Vanier, Benitez, Yardley and Libre for your top 10. In Pro-Am, that pass just before the red flag for James Sofranas has become very important indeed, as he nets a general classification 13th place, but is leading the Pro-Am category as they're on their final lap under yellow, ahead of Moise Uretsky in second. Ooh. And not Marco Cironi in third, it's Wallace in third. So was that a change of position as well? And in the Masters class, Matt Holcomb, Chris Palomo and Kyle Washington are the top 3, and they're finished in 20th, 21st and 22nd. The really good news is that everybody who went out came back, despite going out in very, very slippery conditions behind the safety car with a lot of standing water.
I've got our pro points if you would like those. I'm still doing the arithmetic on the other two categories, but Luke Hartog, by dint of Gus Burton not racing this weekend, now is clear from the rest of the field by a very large gap. He has 103 points provisionally. In second, and this is where the battle
Shay,
gets...
I should just ask, have you added full points onto this? Do we think it'll be full points, or will it only be half points?
Good point. I've done full points, but that's a very good point. Half. I didn't want to do half points and then do the math for that when my brain was already on overload. So provisionally in second, yes.
It will be full points because they've actually run the whole race. If you see what I mean. There's a long red flag in the middle, but they've actually run the whole whole race to the checkered flag, which is what they're going to do now. And then they'll have a slow down lap as well. The checkered flag is out. Let's just see them through there. As we've endured the rain with them this far. Oh, and the safety car stayed out in front of the leader to come across the line. That's quite unusual. Normally they get out of the way so you can get a nice picture. But they stay yellow so there's no overtaking. Now they'll do a slow down lap. All right, there's confirmation. After 8 laps, of which we think 2 might have been partially green. Shay, let's have the points.
Okay, so Luke Hartog's still with the lead. He now has a gap of 103 points. In second will be Zach Venier with 67. In third is Michael Cooper on 66. In fourth is Alex Sedgwick on 65. In fourth is Gus Burton, fifth is Gus Burton, who's no longer running with us. And then Ryan Yardley on 61 points. 5 points further back is today's winner, Yves Balta. So now all of a sudden, our top 6 in points, yes, the championship leader is off on his own, but the battle for second is a true dogfight. I just need a couple moments time to do the Pro-Am.
Pro-Am, we can now say the winner because we had a checkered flag. James Sofranas in the 14th car and 13th position. Overall, had a Moisey Aretsky in second. So it's 14, 44 and 23. So Sofranas, Aretsky and Wallace will be on the podium there.
In Pro-Am, our championship leader is still Marco Cironi, so the Canadian will be pleased to hold on to that lead. In second, it is still Moisey Uretsky, but in third, up from 7th, is James Sofronas. In fourth is now Efren Castro after a rough day from a qualifying issue. Fifth, in a tie, is our newbie Kenton King and champion Alan Metney on 61 points. So again, we've got a very tight competition in our Pro-Am class. I have to do Masters next.
And in Masters, it's Matt Holcomb, Chris Palomo and Kyle Washington. By the way, why was Gus Burton not racing this weekend, Shay? He was off somewhere else, wasn't he?
I did not get a firm answer from the team on that, but they said they did not expect to have him back this year. They hoped that he would be, but they were not expecting it.
Okay. We'll dig into that for the race tomorrow. Let's see them in the pit lane then, as the final knockings of this one in the weather. As Shay finishes up the arithmetic in our Masters class. We'll get all the points done. And fingers crossed for some better weather tomorrow. Or at least, well, they always say, don't they? They always say there's no such thing as bad weather, just inappropriate clothing. So maybe that wasn't bad weather, just the wrong tyres chosen by everybody on the false grid. Right, Shay, what can you tell us about the Masters situation?
Matt Halcomb continues to lead the way on 111 points after getting the 2 points for the pole position earlier as well. I can't factor in fast laps for either the Pro-Am or the Masters. That information is not given to me on the timing screen. So there is a point somewhere for someone, but I don't know for whom. Chris Palomo is in second on 90 points, so 21 behind Matt Halcomb. And in third is Mark Wame on 79 with Carlos de Quesada, father of Michael, on 61 points this weekend, and John Getz moves up closer to Scott Blind, who is not racing in Montreal this weekend because he's in mid-Ohio, but is still in that 6th position. congratulations to Yves Baltas, who, by the way, I can now say it, our 4th different winner in 5 races in 2024.
I knew where you were going with that. He doesn't care. He'll get to stand on a Formula 1 podium.
Yes.
That is the payoff for the coming to race at the Formula 1 events.
And it's
Sometimes
extra.
it's very difficult.
It's extra special for Yves because last year he ran in the Super Cup, and his finish after the entire season was 24th in the championship. So weekend after weekend, he got to be the support to the Formula 1, but he never made it onto that podium. Today, he not only makes it onto the podium, he gets to go to the top step.
Already making his way upstairs as the rest of the cars clear the pit lane. And of course, the weather has cleared up and the rain has eased considerably from where it was. Baltas wins it then, and will get to celebrate on a Formula 1 podium. And as Shea rightly said, not just on any step, it's good enough being on a Formula 1 podium. It's nice to see you being there and you get the pictures. Lurk Hartog will be in second, Michael Kuba in third. Alex Sedgwick, 4th position in this race, but holds on to his championship lead from Dan Clark in 5th, Michael McCann, Zach Vanier, Angel Benitez, Ryan Yardley and Jimmy Liebler for your top 10. Talk about the class winners, 13th, 14th and 15th, Sofronas, Yeletsky and Jordan Wallace. Marco Cironi holding on to his championship lead in that particular part of the championship. Matt Holcomb in 20th is the best of the Masters class runners, ahead of Chris Palomo and Kyle Washington. No one fell off, nobody had any damage. All will get to fight again tomorrow. Cross our fingers for better weather and more racing laps. So that's it from Shea Adam and me. We've spent more time doing arithmetic than we have watching racing. Such is the way of things sometimes. Proving, if proof were needed, the importance of qualifying. Matt Holcomb's car abandoned in the pit lane. He's off to his podium. And they get the full Formula 1 experience. Inside the cool down zone, they're heading to the podium. We're going to wrap up our Super Saturday from Mid-Ohio and here at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. For Shea Adam, I'm John Hindhaugh. Thanks to our teams on site, trackside, and of course at NASCAR Productions up in North Carolina. We'll see you tomorrow. More racing on Sunday on IMSA Radio and IMSA TV. Bye-bye.